You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself, yeah.
I don't think you guys walk away from this.
You just make sure people know what happened.
Peace, and blessings, everyone. We got a show for you today. This is Kamala and Bidenomics. Is it effective? What is really going on with our economy today? Today, happening now with our economy. Not history, but what's really going on today and what can we see in the near future? What is the near future? Tomorrow. Simple. So there's things that are going on in the world stock market that we wanted to present some of the cause and effect and what is these things leading to. So today I got my co-host Shin Akama, and I'm your host Henry Williams. I hope everything going well with everyone. Good evening.
Yes, how is everyone doing this evening? If you're a person who has 401ks, investments, anything that has to do with the stock market portfolios, you've seen that today was a terrible day for the stock market, and it was definitely looking like the projections till the election is going to be one roller coaster ride after another as they try to throw these obstacles in what I believe is in Trump's way to try to stop him from being able to acquire the seat of the president.
Okay. So I'm bringing out right now the world market. So let's dig a little bit into this. So get people to understand what brought us the attention of dealing with the stock market. What big impact happened in the stock market that you feel like people need to be aware of?
Well, firstly, I'd have to say that the whole administration, the economic downturn has been so sharp that things that used to cost almost a quarter of the price that they are now, and then there's other things that have gone up whole dollar amounts at lower prices. It's like every time we catch a break, they do something in private business to make us pay more money somewhere else to make up for the loss in whatever sector that their investment went bad in. And I believe it has to do with the Bidenomics, because ever since he took the office, the regulation of how the currency is moving has been under strict scrutiny, and it's very elaborate the way that they try to make it seem like it's a world economy problem when really it's a world against the United States economy problem, because we're trying to apply pressure onto foreign entities who are not aligning at this time with United States policy, especially with Israel.
So a lot of things that people got to realize that also has an impact on everything. This inflation, one major cause for inflation is when you have a city like New York and you flood the city with immigrants. And, and when the city use so much resources that they cannot tax. So if you tax 1,000 people $1, and that's $1,000, but you paying out $2,000. So that into you into a default.
Exactly, because those not and before we get too deep into this subject matter, let's make a disclaimer.
Yeah.
We don't have any problem with immigrants. We're just speaking on how the economics of the politicians is working. We're not talking about anybody personal, just
No.
so we can get that across. And
I'm
now
also
I
I'm
was gonna say,
also
in what you were saying, that the reason why we're losing the 2,000 when we make the one is because that's the 1,000 people that's not paying $1 but are being accounted for by the system in the algorithms.
yeah. And if you have a system also where when you have 5 hot dogs and you have 15 people in that space, it's time to raise up them hot dogs because supply and demand. And that's a key part in economics. But people got to realize that one is the key part of war. You have war, you have places where United States is giving more money out than actually it actually pump in, and it's two forms the way that United States. There's many forms, but two forms that major key for United States to get money, and that is Treasury bond and also taxes. So when United States start adding taxes, people got to understand that a lot of them taxes go to corporations. When the Democrats say we're going to raise the taxes on these percent of people who haven't paid their share and stuff, they lying because that money have to go come from somewhere.
Yeah,
So
but you have to also remember that it's that currency, as in paper money, is just fiat anyway, along with the treasury bonds.
yeah,
It's just IOU slips. They're not really having value. They don't have any worth other than what people give it. And that's why today at the opening of the market, after Kamala Harris's speech last night about the Bidenomics working, the index of the stock market runs on consumer confidence, not what the corporations are doing, but the consumer
yeah.
of the product's confidence in the economy itself.
So
And if it took such a massive dip in less than a 24-hour time span because of this woman saying that the economic political system was working, which we all know we've been suffering, and it's not, and is because they just keep printing up the fiat currency
let me ask you
IOUs.
let me ask you a question. Let's just go a little bit personal, but not too personal. In this time frame right now, in this economy, would you buy an iPhone for $1,000?
No, I wouldn't. And my reasoning is I have two reasons why I wouldn't buy a brand new $1,500 iPhone. Number one is there's a war for that cobalt going on, and there's people being mistreated to get the elements in their base forms to make that iPhone. So I wouldn't support that in general.
Yeah.
And secondly, $1,500 is a rent. I'd rather rent my apartment an extra month, so pay $3,000 this month, so I have an extra month with the on the tab with my landlord. So if I ever come into a financial or economic problem, I know I got at least one month of not having to pay my landlord under the wing.
So let's say this. By people not buying the iPhone, that infected the Nasdaq. For people who into the stock market who understand, the Nasdaq slid 3.4%. Apple and other big tech companies who big stars of the stock market, they took a big bang to that. Yeah. Because people would have to look at their choices because inflation. We gotta really actually look at what's going on. You have Biden, when he came into office, flooding money into Ukraine. After that, you have Biden flooding money to the state of Israel. After that, we fighting 3 proxy wars.
Don't forget the billions of dollars in self-defense missile defense system, air to surface, surface to water missiles that we put up in Taiwan either. Don't forget we put a whole new
Yeah,
2024 missile defense system on Taiwan earlier this year in April and May.
you also, yes, you got Taiwan. You got you have, let me put the countries. You have North Korea, them drills. So that's South Korea with weapons and military training from the United States. You have Japan. Japan, they building a new doctrine for nuclear deterrent from China and North Korea and Japan. You have, like you said, Taiwan or Taipei. They are getting weapons and assistance from the United States. You have the Philippine Islands. They getting weapons and missiles, and also on the island of Guam. That's the United States military base right there. But the weapons is getting bought, getting shipped to places like Ukraine, Israel, and to the point that in some cases, some countries they have to pay loans and grants, some grants for some of the weapons, but they get loans. But the nation of Israel, like 100% of our weapons could go to Israel.
And don't forget too the unspoken of Contra wars that we're fighting right now in South America with CIA agents, not even uniformed military personnel, that they don't even try to tell us about because they know that it's linked to the drug running.
Yeah.
And they
So
know that it's also linked to these immigrants coming north.
yeah. So the news out said that a scarce Monday that started with a plummet a board. So this reminiscent of 1987. That's a shocking. I was born that year. The crash of Japan. So it went from a crash in Japan that rippled the whole world all the way to Wall Street because it's a fear. People gotta understand United States job growth. is going down. Biden and Kamala Harris have not told the people that a lot of the jobs that they add to the economy was jobs dealing with what? Dealing with government jobs. That means the government grew. The government grew. While private sector, like jobs that you go to, did not grow. If you have regulations and tax increase on companies like Walmart, Ford, and all these other big companies, that means that they squeeze, they cover their pocket. They don't want to give out money because they don't have it. If you paying more taxes, you cannot say, hey, I want to take this money that I have extra and hire more people because I want to open this research and development into this new product. So that's called people to come and work. Oh, I want to open up a new Walmart, a new Wise, a new Piggly Wiggly, a new Safeway, a new Giant, a new Costco, whatever company it is. If you having regulation and taxes on your business, you don't want to hire people, and that's what we dealing with right now.
Yeah, that all has to do with consumer confidence, and people are listening to all this bloviation from the Democrat Party and talking about they made all these jobs. And if that was the case, then why did CVS close 200 stores this year? Why is it that supermarkets are consolidating and closing hundreds of locations that where they're taking away jobs? They're not doing it because the economy is bad either. They're doing it because they're deceiving you into believing they can do something for you. All they got to do, it's an election year. I tell people to always pay attention when it's an election year. It's an election year. They can take away X amount of jobs just so that way in October they can give you X amount of jobs back and make it look like it was a spike in the growth. When the days like today prove the contrary, because it's not based on the what we call, that's a pump and dump strategy in stock investment, meaning that you pump the stocks up while you own them, and then when they make it to the higher level that they haven't been to, you
Yeah.
pull all your asset out, causing it to drop down. So everybody who was riding on the way up loses all their money, but you hold on to all the money you made because you pulled your money out before the dip.
Yeah, that's just like people got to realize right now. You have countries like Dubai. You have countries like China, Russia. Russia right now can't pull their money and their assets out of the United States economy. But people, these nations is fearing a war. They fearing a World War III of a massive proportion because people got to realize it is a World War III going on. That you have wars on every continent. In each and every one of these wars, messy, nosy United States aristocrat is in there causing proxy war, economic war, war on drugs. That's still having an impact on people. So
Don't forget that they got that. Not only that, in the United States of America, we don't even have to go outside our own country to see the war on crime,
yeah,
which we already know the United States only makes money off crime. They make money off putting people in jail. They make money off law enforcement. The judges making money for putting people away. The prosecutor. Kamala Harris was all of these: prosecution, the district attorney. She is a convictor. She's an accuser, like the Bible calls them. They're accusers because they themselves have control of the high places, where by high places, it means the places of power. And the stock market shows you their true power in what they speak, because look how much power this lady had to destroy the stock market index and destroy the consumer confidence. So Donald Trump was correct this week when he said that when ever since the Democrats brought out Kamala Harris, they have no shot because she has a bad track record. She doesn't have a good political record. She's only been in there for a short time. What has she really done? Nobody has answers to that question, but they can tell you when she was putting hot sauce on fried chicken, or they can tell you when she was dancing with a marching band, but they cannot tell you 3 things about this woman's foreign policy, 3 things about this woman's economic policy, nor 3 things about her infrastructure policy, or how she's gonna help the youth who's lost and confused right now in the streets of America and on the internet. All we're doing is spreading the confusion to the youth of the other international community. And it's all time back to this economic downturns. Because in the 90s, when Bill Clinton was the president, who was a Democrat, by the way, education had a high level of spending. Nowadays, in 2024, education got a low level of spending. But corporate bailouts and penny pinching and bailing out banks, a bank is a bank. They're supposed to have money. How are you bailing a bank out? It doesn't make sense to me, because all it says to me is the people who everybody's putting into office is investing in the wrong things, especially because we see the result on the other side of the equal sign every day, because we have to live with the policy's outcomes.
Yeah. So trying to get these pictures right, but we gotta understand also with this war, we're not looking at millions, thousands of dollars. We're looking at billions of dollars. Billions of dollars on Ukraine and many other countries.
Don't forget billions of dollars on Israel too, to fight a civilian populace.
Yeah. I could really say this, that I support Gaza citizens. Not your moms. I'm not supporting 100% everything that they do. I'm not that way. But I support innocent people who have a right to live. That's out of my mouth. I support.
Yeah, there's no way that you should be going to work tomorrow morning, Henry.
Yeah.
And when you get to work, you start doing your job and you get killed by a missile.
Yeah.
There's no reasoning for that. You ain't even in the battle zone.
Subsidized by the USA. November 10th, 2023. Reliance on USA gives the Biden administration leverage to push for a ceasefire hostage exchange, and an end to the slaughter of civilians.
Can you hear?
If it can find
Yep.
the will. William D. Hartung. Facebook. Twitter. Email. Flipboard. Pocket. Print.
Yeah, they're gonna go through
Made
that.
in the USA. Civil defense teams continue efforts to rescue Palestinians trapped under the rubble of a building destroyed by Israeli attacks in Deir al-Balah, Gaza, on November 9, 2023. Ashraf Amra/Anadolu via Getty. Amid the vigorous, and often divisive, debates on the Biden administration's support for Israel's war on Gaza, one issue has received relatively little attention: how much of Israel's war effort is underwritten by the United States. There's no question that U.S. aid provides a substantial share of Israel's war costs. A rough sense of the overall importance of U.S. aid to the Israeli war effort can be developed by comparing the $14 billion in military aid proposed by the Biden administration with an estimate by the Israeli financial newspaper Calculus, first reported by Reuters. Calculus estimates that the conflict in Gaza will cost Tel Aviv roughly $50 billion. $50 billion if it goes on for 8 to 12 months. If the Calculus estimate is
Oh, hold on. Pause that real quick. Because they just said something critical right there.
Yeah.
Now, this is talking about December 2023, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Can you reread that part where it said the 8 to 10 months, how much money they needed by the 8 to 10 months?
Oh, let me back it up. It might be right here.
Hold on, I can just read it from right here. Let me just read it. It says that Israel needs roughly 50 billion if the war goes on for another 8 to 12 months from December last year, 2023. If I'm not mistaken, this is August, which is 8, the bare minimum. And we already gave them $85 billion, almost double what they estimated was going to be the cost of this so-called incursion. Now they double. So now, in effect, they lied in order to gain support. And I'm not talking about political support. I'm talking about financial support.
Yeah.
And then ended up hitting us with the bill for double. And then ended up hitting us. And I'm not talking about us as in everybody in America. I'm talking about the tax-paying, low class, middle class to upper middle class citizen who got to file their taxes every year. Not Donald Trump, not Kamala Harris, not Joe Biden, not Nancy Pelosi, not none of these people who have tax exemptions. And I'm talking about churches, and I'm talking about Hebrew Israelite camps and all type of things that got political views but can't spend no political money. So therefore, it doesn't make sense to me how if you ain't paying taxes, you should be able to have an input on anything political in this country. Because that's the separation of a 501c3 in the state, right?
Yeah.
So you shouldn't have any opinion on any politics, and it shouldn't be allowed to give you any public forum to express your views on politics if you are a 501c3, which that would also eliminate groups like AIPAC and these Israeli Defense Ministry groups that are in the United States, because now they would no longer be able to speak or express their political views while still collecting checks off the stock market and not paying taxes.
Yeah, yeah. And API, Israel.
APIC, AIPAC.
Yeah, APAC. Yeah, APAC. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the one who we gave 85 billion in aid to.
Yeah. So we dealing with billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars now, because if that's 850 and that's 12 months and 8 months and it already to 60, Think about it. You have a Gaza incursion. You have Israel flying a jet. Just refueling them jets is hundreds of thousands of dollars. Each bomb on them jets is millions of dollars. So when Israel bombed
Hey,
the
don't forget to acquire the fuel is millions and billions of dollars.
yeah. So you have economic, you have United States economy fitting the bill for these wars. So you have also to the point that you attack the Houthis, you attack Yemen, Lebanon. I'm sorry about that, and
Lebanon.
you attack Iran. You opening doors of war to the point that United States will not just give money, but will give the blood of their children.
And it's a crazy thing because yesterday they sent the USS Abraham Lincoln carrier strike force over to the Middle East. And I looked it up and it says that it costs $310 million a day to have them fully deployed like that. 310 million a day.
Yeah.
And then people is wondering why the economy is going in shambles. We're paying for we're basically paying to defend people who don't need to be defended because they're fighting wars against people who are civilians. We're not even fighting another people who can hit us with a missile or use planes to drop an airstrike on somebody. We're talking about people driving in a Toyota Tacoma, jumping out the back with do-rags on their face.
But you have United States a hypocrite in everything they do. They talk about democracy and sovereignty for one area, but deny them same two concepts in another area. Let me give you a good example, people. You have Venezuela. They just had an election. In the committee that oversees the election said that Maduro won. But you have United States telling the world that that vote did not represent the people of Venezuela. And that's the type of hypocrite while you have people
And then
who
they set up that puppet president right now. And don't forget to mention that because the United States did that, now it's a war between the government and the people in the streets of Venezuela right now. And on top of that, the police join the civilians.
yeah,
That's how you know it's some corruption. If the police is joining the civilians to fight against the government, you know it is some deep corruption in there.
yeah. Because law and order must stand even if the government itself is corrupt or anything, the the civil structure still stand. Okay, so we to the point that in places like Iran, they have embassy up in Syria. It got attacked. That was their sovereign territory. That embassy and United States used weapons in allied countries where we supply them, and also use weapons on ships to knock down drones and missiles, projectiles, and also now Iran is added again because Israel attacked Iran on their soil and killed a lead negotiator of Hamas on the territory of Tehran, the capital city of Tehran. So you have now United States sending more military buildup in the Middle East because of Israel. And don't forget that we have a war that when Joe Biden came into office, every week, every week, him and Zelensky been begging people for what? Money, weapons. We tell them no, you can't shoot into Russia. Turn around, you can shoot into Russia. Is it
Don't
okay?
forget, we already spent 300 billion over there with Zelensky.
Yeah. So I wanted to show this video real quick. So people bear with me.
And it's tough when the Democratic Party is trying to get you to vote for them so that way you can consent to them paying for all this foolishness.
Yeah, yeah. Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's play it.
Israel has a right to defend itself, without any question. The president and I take very seriously our commitment to Israel and to the people of Israel, to support them, and in particular to give Israel what it needs to defend itself. And as long as I'm a United States Senator, I will do everything in my power to ensure broad and bipartisan support for Israel's security and right to self-defense. It is why I support full funding for Israel, including.
That's what I wanted to stop with for right now. Did you see that? What she said? Full funding,
That's a blank check.
blank check. That means everything that's going on in Israel right now with the bombing of Gaza, the innocent people, Kamala Harris will use bipartisan support to fully fund Israel war with Gaza, the genocide that's going on in Gaza, the attacks going on in Syria, Lebanon, and also Iran and Iraq and Libya.
And I think there's another layer to this that is part of the whole enigma of the mystery, which mystery is just a cult word meaning the same thing as a cult, which means just it's a hidden ritual, that she's a Hindustan woman, which means that she's Hindu in her origin base. And anybody who knows anything about the history of India, they had a great war because of the English in the 1800s against the Muslims, where they had put pig's blood on the Muslim people's doors in the night, and then put cow's blood on the Indian people's doors in the night, and then had them fight each other so that way England could swoop in and steal all the resource. Now the United States is doing the same thing. It's a repetitive Roman tactic, causing a war between a civilian populace and a proxy state, which the United States controls through socio-economic means, whether it's religion, whether it's culture, or whether it's financial.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. As long as they can do the pincer attack against the people with the money. It's not even a physical pincer attack as a military strategy would go. It's a pincer attack on our wallets. They're trying to get their hand in our pocket. And that's why they said when they killed Brother Malcolm X, the code word was, get your hand out my pocket. You already know the rest.
Yeah.
Before they blew him away. Now, what makes you think that they don't got their hand in your pocket or are ready to blow you away for the same reason? It was a concert in Atlanta where all type of star power, because Kamala Harris made some record money for campaign donation. But there was people that night in Atlanta who was homeless and went to bed with no bed. And we can spend money on these fallacious, and if you ask me, overzealous spectacles of nothingness, because nothing of criticality is being said in these approaches. And we're talking about losing money in the economy. This is just the lady's own pocketbook that we're talking about right now. We're not even talking about the government pocketbook yet. So we got to take a real good look at the accounting books, not just what we hear them say. We got to look at the numbers. I know it's difficult. The majority of people in America hate math unless it's them counting a check. We already know. But according to Civics 101, it is our duty as American citizenry to do our due diligence and hold our government officials accountable for what they do with our consent and our names and the money that we give them.
Yeah. And a lot of things going on that we gotta remember. When we go to the polls, pay attention to local funding, because local government also could give out bonds. They also could raise taxes. You gotta pay attention to. You gotta understand that it's one thing to build infrastructure, but you got to have companies and people working to keep that infrastructure up. If jobs is not hiring, there's more people without the means to survive. And that's more companies that have supply but no demand for it. And that,
you have to also think about it from a view from the labor workers, right?
Yeah.
If it's inflation, Henry, are you building new buildings?
No.
So the majority of people, especially people who I love, that's felons, have jobs with construction.
Yeah.
Especially felons. And if we are paying attention, the prison industrial complex is doing anything in its power to suck everybody and anybody into it, especially repeat offenders. If you know all you know how to do is sell drugs or rob people or commit fraud, but you turned away from that, trying to do it well by yourself, by your family, your kids, and you work a job, say, in construction, because what if you have an armed robbery pending on your shit?
Yeah.
Think about it. If I got an armed robbery I'm not going to be able to get a job working on a register anywhere. I'm not going to get a job working on retail anywhere because nobody's going to trust me because I committed a robbery. But I could work in construction because I'm not messing with money, and I can put my physical ability because, you know, people that go to jail, they start getting in physical fitness.
Yeah.
And you want to put that's a skill set. You can go to jail for 2 years, and when you went to jail, you could barely bench press 100 pounds. And now when you got out of jail, you're bench pressing 300. So you have to think that what other job can they get but construction, lumberjack?
But I tell you also economic killer because it all go hand in hand. If you take a school and you take a hotel and you put it together, you create the jet. Why we gotta look at this? It's like this. Like you said earlier, schools is going down the drain. Funding for school. If every year the school take on, like I say, 50,000. I'm just making up a number. Don't stab me in the back. $50,000 to support 10 kids in the school. The reason for the price to go higher is if more children. That's one part. But that also create opportunity with teachers. More classroom, more growth. But if you restrict that money, like a lot of people cut education costs, that's like one of the major three that people start cutting, but they actually start lying when they go in front of people of helping education. But a lot of programs get cut. A lot of districts get overwhelmed with a lot of children. Children that coming from other districts, they get overwhelmed.
And don't forget that the first programs to go in schools in order to cut the bottom line is the extra elective classes like music, art, things that will propel children in their educational hunger instead of cutting them off and making it seem like they have only one specific route they can go now in life.
Oh yeah, so let me stop real quick. I wanna thank the people coming off of Facebook. I want to thank the people who also coming from YouTube. If y'all would like, y'all could come in the chat and introduce yourself. Just say hello or anything, and we'll put it on the screen. Shout you out wherever you from. Number love and respect. We got two people coming from our YouTube account, and we got two people coming from our Facebook page, the next generation of news. Thank y'all for coming through. I see 3 thumbs up coming out of Facebook. So thank you, appreciate it. So while we here, we saying that a lot of the issues that's going on right now that cause United States is the confidence of our growth. People be saying, "Oh, Biden add this many jobs. Him and Kamala Harris add this many jobs." But people gotta understand what type of jobs was added to the economy. Government type of job or private sector job. These private sector jobs is people like Walmart that that hire people in the public sector.
And those are the spots that's closing up in mass right now.
Yes.
They're consolidating their workforces. And then the ones that have the minimum workforce, you know already, those are the ones that got self-checkout all over the joint.
Yeah.
They don't even got a cashier over there. You know what I mean?
For real, for real.
You go up in the store, you trying to ask somebody a question about some items, and you feel like that episode of The Simpsons when he said hello, and then it was like the whole store, nobody was in there.
For real, for real.
So
Yeah.
what are we supposed to do? And then it's also part of the overall programming of limiting physical social interactions, because they know that if they limit our physical interaction with each other, then nothing can spread by word of mouth that's not controlled first through the filter of social media.
Yeah, yeah.
And we already know social media dictates what everybody buys right now, because there's nobody watching no commercials on TV still. Small percentage. They send us directly ads of what they know we want to buy, targeted revenue, which makes me not still even greater misunderstanding and a disconnect to how the economy could be having low consumer confidence when they're targeting consumers directly for the products that they want to and have to buy.
Yeah.
So and not only that, how are the corporations recording in their books record profit, but their stocks is in the basement?
And
Something is not working the way it's supposed to.
And people gotta understand this. Let's look at it like this. January, February, March. January, February, March. April, May, June. July. August. September. We is in the third quarter. Wait. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, the third. Wait. No. 3 months into 3. I'm sorry about that. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. So this is the end of the second quarter. This is the end of the second quarter, and we had a big hit where the Dow Jones was down 1,000 points. That's 2.3% of
They
profit.
said they've never seen. I was watching the business, right? The business news today, and one of the experts said he'd been trading stocks for the last 40 years. And he said he never seen a one-day drop in a total of 1,000 points ever in his lifetime. And we're talking about somebody who's been investing their whole life. That's what they do for a living.
Yes.
It's an unprecedented time because people are unprecedentedly uninformed. They are very uninformed.
And we also got to add on the dollar saying God we trust to put them. Also, like let me read this.
They're playing off the nostalgia of people's religious implication.
This note is legal tender for all debt, public and private. Being tender, other countries do not have to accept United States currency as a trading currency.
When you're working on the register, do you know what they call the tender? What that is?
Explain.
That's the receipt. That's the receipt for what you got.
Yeah.
So put that dollar bill back up here again, so they can see it. This is just a receipt. It's a receipt. And that's what you ain't understanding. It's saying it's tender. It's not telling you that's currency. That's a receipt. Go back to CVS with a receipt and see if you can use that for money. See if you can use it. Go back to the supermarket with your receipt and see if you can use that.
Don't you take items back to Walmart with the receipt?
No, I'm not talking about taking them back. I'm not talking about taking it back. I'm talking about go in there with just a receipt and try to pay for something.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is that even that paper become currency in itself. Because
it's not currency, it's tender.
Yeah, tender.
That means it's an accounting of an IOU slip. That is not physical resource in any way. It's because you believe that paper got physical value. That's why you're saying when you go bring it back and return it at the store, you just made them gain triple value of the item while you gain negative value because you had to get your tender of debt, private and public back, instead of the resource. Like say you bought a toaster. Now show me how that $20 bill is going to toast up some toast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They just got you because now they got the item back, so they're going to get paid out an insurance payment. Your original payment was already used and cycled through the economy, and they made money off that. And then the tax man gets paid twice because you took the money back, and they already paid for the item twice on once when they get the insurance.
Yeah. So, thank y'all for coming through. It's that time. Gotta shut things down. Gotta pay the bills. Gotta work. But we here at news mean never in the working sector. We here for the people. Your comment do matter. Your opinions do matter. We here to provide information that normally cannot be found. We here to give information that people skip over. Our view is not something we are forcing onto people. We are just expressing our views. It's not the full view of the channel because this channel is open to all type of views. And we'd like to thank y'all from Facebook and also YouTube for coming through. So let me ask, Shin Akuma, do he have anything else to say before we close off?
Well, I'm just going to close it out like I always do. Remember, love is life, so live in love. And positive vibes bring positive results. If you're getting positive results, that means you're achieving your goals.
So stay in the back chat and stay in the backstage, and we're going to end this show.
Woo! I'm going to make a name for myself out here.
You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
I don't think you guys walk away from this.
You just make sure people know what happened.